With load testing, we are testing the application under a typical load. What the typical load is really depends on the application. If we were testing a bridge, we would put vehicles on it up to the designed load. This bridge should hold as many cars and trucks as we would expect during rush hour during a typical workday. This kind of data can vary from application to application, and it should be based on empirical data. In other words, if we know that typically our application handles 300 concurrent users every moment during the busiest hours of the day, this should be our baseline value for the load test. If there is no empirical data, in other words, the application has not been launched to production yet, then it is best to estimate the number of expected users. With the load test, we need to wait a bit to understand how the application performs during a sustained period of time under a typical load. Because of this, it does not make sense to run such a test only for a few minutes. Some issues tend to occur only after a while. So it is not uncommon to have a load test running for 30 minutes or even longer. Now, in reality, users don't just show up all of a sudden. They increase and decrease over time. So when designing such a test, we should also gradually increase the number of users. By doing so, we are simulating the way users typically behave. With most applications, there are ups and downs. Some applications need a bit of time to scale their resources. So if we send a lot of users all of a sudden, the auto-scaling capabilities of the application won't be able to kick in so fast. Typically in a load test, we have 3 stages. A ramp-up stage when we gradually increase the number of users until we reach the desired value, and then we stay for a long while at that value, and then towards the end, we're ramping down, decreasing the number of users. A typical ramp-up time is about 10% of the total duration of the test, give or take. For shorter test durations, it is best to allow more time for the application to scale up. So if we have a test for 30 minutes, the ramp-up time should be about 5 minutes. Choosing a lower value may not allow a system to scale up. But if we run a test for like 90 minutes, then we may want to stay at 10% or even go slightly below, as it will be enough time to scale up. Now, this ramp-up period is very important because this is when the application might show the first signs of weakness. The same goes when we are about to stop the test. If we just stop the test all of a sudden, then we're not really testing the scaling down capabilities of the application. So we want to gradually scale down the number of users just as we would have in reality, right? So users don't just disappear all of a sudden. So this is why we'll choose a pretty similar value for the ramp down as we had for the ramp up period.